American Military University. Learn from the leader.
Tonight, the Russian incriminate Hillary Clinton. Those emails revealing he was told it was the Russian government trying to help his father win. Don Jr. replying in the email, "If it's what you say it is, I love it." Also at this hour, the Russian lawyer with reported ties to the Kremlin who came from Moscow to Trump Tower. She's now speaking out about the meeting with Don Jr., Paul Manafort, and Jared Kushner. Who is she? What did she bring? And did then candidate Donald Trump know? Also developing tonight, authorities moments ago on the deadly military crash, the C-130, with 15 Marines and a sailor on board. We're on the scene. The close call at San Francisco Airport. What we've learned about the pilot who was about to land where 4 passenger planes were waiting to take off. And the images coming in right now, digging for clues after 4 young men go missing.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Tuesday night, and we begin tonight with Donald Trump Jr.'s own emails. The president's son was told during the campaign that he was about to get dirt on Hillary Clinton, and he was told in those emails that the Russian government was out to help his father win. Don Jr. agreeing to the meeting, a Russian lawyer making the trip to Trump Tower here in New York City. In the email exchange, told to go to the 25th floor. Tonight, reaction has been swift, and the White House issuing a statement from President Trump about his son. ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl leading us off.
It's a startling development. The emails show Donald Trump Jr. was told the Russian government was trying to help his father's campaign and that he was willing, even eager, to accept their help. The emails come from Rob Goldstone, a Trump acquaintance and publicist who was involved in the Miss Universe pageant in Moscow and who has Russian clients with ties to Vladimir Putin. The subject line of the email chain, Russia, Clinton, private and confidential. On June 3rd, 2016, Goldstone tells Don Jr. that, quote, the Crown Prosecutor of Russia offered to provide the Trump campaign with some official documents and information that would incriminate Hillary and her deals with Russia and would be very useful to your father. This is obviously very high level and sensitive information, but it is part of Russia and its government's support for Mr. Trump. Less than 20 minutes later, Don Jr. responds, "Thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. If it's what you say, I love it, especially later in the summer." 4 days later on that same chain, Goldstone emails Don Jr. about setting up a meeting in New York with the Russian government attorney who is flying over from Moscow. Don Jr. replies, "Great. It will likely be Paul Manafort, campaign boss, my brother-in-law, and me. 725 Fifth Avenue, 25th floor. That's Trump Tower." The next day, Don Jr. forwards the full email chain to Kushner and Manafort with that same subject line, Russia, Clinton, private and confidential. And the day after that, the meeting takes place inside Trump Tower. Don Jr. says nothing of value came from the meeting and that he released the emails today himself to, quote, be totally transparent. But the New York Times says he only released them after he was told the Times was about to publish the emails. There's no evidence the Russian lawyer actually provided any information on Hillary Clinton and in fact denies doing so. Also unclear whether she had anything to do with the WikiLeaks release of nearly 20,000 DNC emails that happened 6 weeks later. But the meeting appears to contradict the denials from Trump advisors and the president himself that the campaign had any contacts whatsoever with the Putin regime.
Are there any ties between Mr. Trump, you or your campaign, and Putin and his regime?
No, there are not. It's absurd, and there's no basis to it.
Did anyone involved in the Trump campaign have any contact with Russians?
Absolutely not, and I discussed that with the president-elect just last night.
I have nothing to do with Russia. To the best of my knowledge, no person that I deal with does.
And just 2 weeks after that Trump Tower meeting, Don Jr. angrily dismissed suggestions that the Trump campaign had anything to do with Russia.
It's disgusting. It's so phony. I can't think of bigger lies, but that exactly goes to show you what the DNC and what the Clinton camp will do. They will lie and do anything to win.
Today at the White House, spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders, in a briefing where cameras were not allowed, read this one-line statement from the president.
My son is a highly quality person, and I applaud his transparency.
She refused to take any further questions on the matter.
And so let's get to John Carl live at the White House tonight. And John, the president has tweeted multiple times since news of his son's meeting first broke, but none of those tweets about his son, and just the one-line statement today.
He normally takes something like this on head on, but not a single tweet about this story. And David, we haven't even caught a glimpse of the president here at the White House for the past 2 days. Not a single public event on his schedule. I am told that behind those closed doors, the president is furious. He is fuming at his aides, frustrated that the Russia story just won't go away.
John Carl leading us off tonight. John, thank you. You heard John report there that Donald Trump Jr. wasn't the only one in that meeting with the Russian lawyer. We now know his brother-in-law, Jared Kushner, now a senior advisor, and campaign chairman Paul Manafort were also there. And late today, the Russian lawyer who was in that room appearing before the cameras. Our team in Moscow was there when she emerged from her office. And here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross, tonight.
The big question tonight is, what did the president know about the meeting here at Trump Tower, and when did he know it? The White House says he only became aware of it a few days ago. But we now know more about the Russian lawyer, Natalia Veselnitskaya, well connected to the Kremlin and a familiar figure in Washington lobbying against Russian sanctions. Here she is at a congressional hearing last June. She flew in specially from Moscow to meet with Trump's inner circle on the 25th floor of Trump Tower, one floor below the office of Donald Trump Sr. Democrats in Congress tonight are asking, how could he not know what was going on? Especially since the meeting was set up by people working for a Russian billionaire who was a former business partner of Trump's, and also close to Vladimir Putin. Tonight in Moscow, the lawyer, Veselnitskaya, denied her purpose was to provide compromising information on Hillary Clinton. No, this is not true, she said. Further claiming she didn't even know if Donald Trump was a candidate for president then. She says presidential son-in-law, Jared Kushner, left the meeting after only about 10 minutes, and that campaign chairman Paul Manafort spent most of the time looking at his phone. She insists the campaign was not on her mind, telling reporters tonight, I'm not interested in politics.
Brian Ross with us live tonight across from Trump Tower. And Brian, that Russian lawyer insists that she did not come to Trump Tower here in New York to deliver damaging information about Hillary Clinton.
That's right, David. She says she came primarily to talk about the adoption of Russian children. And that was Donald Jr.'s first explanation, too. But then he quickly changed the story, saying she told him she did have information about Hillary Clinton. And now tonight with the emails, yet another version of what was on the agenda here. David?
Our chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross, tonight. Brian, thank you. We know the special counsel, Robert Mueller, is investigating any possible collusion between members of the Trump campaign and Russia. So what does this prove today? I want to bring in ABC's chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. And Dan, first, campaigns always try to get opposition research on their opponent. But bottom line here for folks watching at home, why is this far different?
Because it's presumably from the Russian government, and it is illegal for a foreign national or foreign government to be contributing directly or indirectly to our campaigns. But remember, as a legal matter, Donald Trump Jr. doesn't need to have received anything to make it potentially criminal. He could have just solicited, requested, asked for it, knowing it's coming from the Russian government, but it has to be something of value.
Of value, you say that. What does that mean?
Well, look, the Federal Election Commission has interpreted that pretty broadly. They've said, for example, polling data could be something of value. It doesn't need to be monetary, but that would be the big legal question if it ever got to that point.
A lot of people watching are going to say, listen, you hear someone has dirt on your opponent, I'd look at it too, but this is different and it's happened before. What do?
Yeah, you go to the FBI. You know, in 2000, Al Gore's team received a briefing book from the Bush team. What did they do? They went to the FBI. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, but remember, there's always a distinction between wrong and criminal, and that's going to be the key question.
That'll be the debate going forward. Dan Abrams with us tonight as well. Donald Trump Jr.'s email sending shockwaves through Capitol Hill today. Many Democrats and Republicans tonight saying they have serious concerns. ABC's Mary Bruce back on the Hill.
Those 4 pages of emails tweeted out by Donald Trump Jr. rocketed through the hallways and offices on Capitol Hill. Any comment on these emails?
They're unbelievable. They keep it coming, don't they?
Obviously, it's very troubling.
A growing chorus of Democrats say there is no question this is a game changer.
Donald Trump Jr. was openly salivating about the prospect of getting damaging information from the Russians. It is certainly evidence of collusion.
This was an attempt at collusion.
So just to be clear, when you see this, you have no doubt that the Trump team knew that the Russian government was trying to interfere?
I would just read what was in the emails. It was in black and white that it was part of a Russian government effort to help Trump discredit Clinton.
And tonight, Hillary Clinton's former running mate, Senator Tim Kaine, is taking it a step further, raising the question of treason.
This is moving into perjury, false statements, and even into potentially treason.
But it's not just Democrats. Many Republicans now say they have serious concerns, arguing when a campaign is approached by a foreign government, no matter what your party, the answer is the same.
If you're offered assistance from a foreign government in your campaign, the only answer is no. So I'm not going to condemn the guy on the email, but this is something that's the most problematic thing I've seen thus far.
Would you report it to the authorities?
I think I would have.
But even with it spelled out in the emails that this was part of the Russian government's support for Mr. Trump, at least one Republican isn't buying it.
Is that evidence that the Trump campaign then knew that Russia was trying to interfere?
No, I don't think so. No.
So let's get to Mary Bruce live on the Hill tonight, where a growing number of lawmakers, Democrats and Republicans now are calling on Donald Trump Jr. to testify, Mary?
David, the number 2 Republican in the Senate, John Cornyn, tells us he can't imagine a world in which Trump Jr. doesn't testify here on the Hill. And tonight, Democrat Dianne Feinstein is going further. She says he needs to speak out publicly in an open session as soon as possible. David.
Mary Bruce and our entire political team on this tonight, our thanks to you all. In the meantime, we do move on now to other news tonight. Authorities just a short time ago offering new details after the crash of a Marine cargo plane, one of the deadliest military crashes in recent history. The plane plunging into a field in Mississippi, bursting into flames. All 16 service members on board the plane died in the crash, and ABC's Steve Osinsami is on the scene tonight.
There's a plane crash on County Road 286 near the county line.
The large team of military and civilian investigators here tonight are combing through miles of Mississippi soybean fields, recovering seat belts, engine parts, and other melted pieces of the military cargo plane that crashed here Monday.
I heard a loud boom and it shook my house.
This is what it looked like from a cell phone on the ground. Witnesses say they could tell the plane was moving ammunition.
When it first crashed, that's all you hear is all the ammunition blowing up.
15 Marines and 1 Navy corpsman were killed, including 7 based at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. Heartbreaking calls from the Mississippi Delta are still going out to their families tonight. Investigators aren't sure what brought the plane down, but the large debris field suggests the plane was high in the sky when something went wrong. The plane was moving people and equipment from North Carolina to California. The KC-130 refueling aircraft has been a military workhorse for decades. Near the dusty fields where police continue to work, a salute to those who were lost.
Let's get to Steve Osinsami with us. He's near the crash site tonight. And Steve, you mentioned this is a really large area they're searching. How difficult has this been for investigators?
Well, investigators are going to be working through the night, trying to, of course, figure out why this plane spiraled out of the sky, according to witnesses. We've watched them drive down long, dusty roads of these farms and get out and search the soybean fields by hand, looking for some piece of evidence to explain what happened.
All right. Steve Osinsami in Mississippi for us. Thank you, Steve. We turn next here to new reporting tonight after we learned of a close call at the San Francisco airport. A major disaster narrowly averted. An Air Canada passenger plane coming in for a landing, heading straight for a taxiway where 4 other passenger planes were waiting to take off. Up to 1,000 passengers on those planes. Here's ABC's David Curley.
New details tonight on a disaster averted on this runway. An Air Canada pilot confused on a night approach.
Tower, just want to confirm it's Air Canada 759. We see some lights on the runway there.
Air Canada 759 confirmed, clear to land runway 28 right. There is no one on 28 right but you.
What the pilot of the A320 was actually seeing Friday night were 4 other jets, potentially carrying up to 1,000 people on the taxiway running parallel to the runway. A pilot on the ground sounding the alarm.
Where's this guy going? He's on the taxiway.
Less than 10 seconds later, the pilot told to abort the landing.
Air Canada, go around.
In the go-around, Air Canada 759.
Data from a flight tracking service
Air Canada flew directly over us.